Hi everyone, it's BellaGemaNails and I'm so excited to be bringing you this new brooch purse design. Now this bag was inspired by brooches. My mom used to have a collection of the most beautiful brooches. She used to have so many different kinds of insect brooches and flowers. And as a little girl, I used to notice them. She used to wear them with her coats and her scarves. And I remember thinking how beautiful and classy they were. And so when choosing the brooches, I of course thought of her and I wanted to create a handbag that had just brooches. I've done the sequin patches, embroidery patches, rhinestone patches, and now we're going to do a brooch purse. And for this particular design, I chose the roses as the main focal point. And what I've done is I attached little bees to the actual leaves here so that there's movement. So when you wear the bag, it'll move around and it looks like it's buzzing around. And I think that is a very cute detail. All the other brooches will be glued down perfectly, but these will be fluttering, which I think is absolutely beautiful and creative. So this is where I went ahead and placed all the brooches as I wanted them on the bag prior to gluing. It's always important for you to map out how the brooches are going to be set before you start gluing, because you want to avoid, number one, a mess, and number two, you want to avoid gaps. You want to fill the top flap as much as you possibly can and have everything just go together. And so this is the way that I found that it looks the best, and it's with the flowers here as the main focal point, as well as the center stone or the center design. So we're bringing it all together. So make sure that you set it up just like this, take a picture and have that as reference. And then we're going to clear this space and then add the chain and then put the brooches on top. For the first step, we're going to measure the chain so that we can take it apart and glue it to the outside flap. Now that the chain is set and perfectly aligned against the seam here, we're going to start placing the patches. Remember to reference your photo so that you don't lose sight of what you're trying to achieve. Placing brooches like this on a bag that's flat is going to be difficult because these have ridges and grooves and they're not a flat surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting off this pin area of the brooch so that we can have more of a flat surface. And what you're going to do is you're going to place it on top of the purse and see which parts of the brooches touch the actual bag, and that is where you're going to place your glue. You will not be placing glue all over the brooch because not every part of this brooch is going to touch the surface. So you don't want the glue to ooze out onto this side and create a goopy mess. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a peek underneath the brooch. All you have to do is look under it to see which parts of the brooch actually touch the purse, so that will be where we place the glue. So I could see I could place glue under this petal and under the center part of the actual brooch, as well as the leaves. So, or the petals, I should say. I'll also be able to place glue under the rosebud here. So that is going to make sure to anchor the charm as well as this side. You are going to refrain from putting any kind of brooches here because you don't want the flap when you open it to break down the glue on the brooches so that it could stay intact and won't fall off. So avoid putting anything on the folded part of the flap. Just put it from this part down. I decided to overlap it on the chain because I like how that looks, but you don't have to do that for your project. I just wanted it to be right on the edge like that. The next step is to adhere the center focal point. And that is going to be needed because you're going to need to see how much space you actually have to insert the rest of the brooches. Make sure you press the center piece down because it will want to move. So you want to make sure it's positioned perfectly before you start putting the other brooches. Now that you've placed all the brooches, you're going to let this dry overnight. So here is the finished product. You could see how beautiful this bag turned out. It is so sparkly. You could see how the pink with the white bag really goes well as the gold chain all around it. I added the chain, what's left of the chain back on, more so for decorative purposes as opposed to functionality, but you could leave it without the chain strap as well. It is such a beautifully decorated bag. And now I left the bees to just kind of flutter and float on the flowers here because I like the idea of the clinking sound and the movement of the actual bees. So there's a lot of movement there and I love that feature. So if you love this bag, please make sure that you thumbs up the video or pop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.